This is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is make a childhood juice recipe, or something that I used to drink as a child, but in the healthier version. So unfortunately, when I was a child, my parents didn't allow us to have soda, but guess what? Grandma did. Grandma and Grandpa did. So hello Velma, if you're out there listening somewhere, and the great blue wander yonder. But anyways, when we go to Grandma's house, I used to get these little canned sodas called Squirt. And Squirt, for those of you guys that don't know, is like a grapefruit soda. And it probably had like corn syrup and natural flavors and stuff in it. But I loved it as a kid. But as an adult now, I don't drink soda. So what I want to do is create things that are healthy for me, that taste like soda, but that are going to nourish my body instead of, rob my body of essential nutrients and whatnot. So I've come up with this recipe that I'm going to share with you guys today. It's very simple, very easy. This is my Squirt, my healthy Squirt replacement made from fresh citrus juices. And we're going to got some fresh citrus juice here, actually all organic even. We're going to use this juicer here. This is the Olympus Citrus Press. Now this citrus press is my favorite style machine to juice specifically citrus to get the citrus water out of it. I do have a really good video on YouTube explaining the difference between citrus water, or citrus juice, as what many of you guys know as juice, and real full-bodied citrus juice, which I use with the white pith or rind to get the nutrients out of the rind. So I'm literally just extracting the water out of the citrus today. Now I do like the citrus press instead of the standard citrus reamer that goes rrr, 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 and I do have another good episode comparing those two in detail, because this is just a lot more quick and efficient to use. So I guess without further ado, let's get into this recipe. This recipe is really simple, real easy to make. After all, this is a grapefruit style drink, so you're gonna need one of the most important ingredients, grapefruit. So I have a single grapefruit here, and if you put too many grapefruits, it's gonna be too grapefruity. It has that like bitter kind of aftertaste, so you just need to use one. The next thing I got, this is just gonna add some nice cool color to the juice, and not mandatory but optional. This is actually called the blood orange. The blood orange will give the juice a nice reddish color instead of the standard orange color. The next ingredient we have is some organic oranges. Today I'm using navel oranges, but I encourage you guys to get the Valencia or juice oranges. None of those were available at a good price near me, so that's why I got the navels today. Next over here we have some of my favorite citrus fruits. These are actually called honey tangerines. Now these are the California honey tangerines, not to be confused with the Florida honey tangerines. The California honey tangerines are excessively sweet. They do have a lot of seeds, and that's why I like juicing them, to get rid of the seeds so that I don't have to spit them out. And finally, the last citrus that we're going to use for this recipe is the sweet lime. So yes, these sweet limes are yellow and these are ripe. When you buy any citrus fruit, I encourage you guys to get them as ripe as possible, and the ripest citrus fruit is going to be full color, not green, and hopefully as dark and appealing to the eye as possible. Now the sweet limes are actually very low, one of the lowest acid citrus fruits you can buy, and they can be hard to find, so you want to check in your Persian markets or ethnic markets, Asian markets or Mexican markets, where they may often sell these. Otherwise they may be hard to find and you may not be able to find them. So in that case, just use some oranges instead. But don't use regular limes, because they're going to mess up this recipe. This has a really neutral flavor, and we're really just using this for some extra liquid and some unique flavor overtones that they provide. So the next thing we're going to do is just simply cut these guys in half. And when juicing these citrus press, I just like to cut all my citrus in half, and then when I'm done I could just literally blast it out. So check this out. This is the blood orange, and this is the standard orange right next to it. It's going to add some real nice color. I want to remind you guys that every different color of the rainbow is colors that you should be eating. Every different color has different nutrition and a whole different host of antioxidants. Here's a nice grapefruit inside. I can smell that grapefruit smell. Nice and pink on the inside. We're going to go ahead and continue to cut some of these oranges in half. Now, when cutting citrus to juice in the citrus press, when you got the stem end up here and the navel end here, you want to cut along the equator. You don't want to cut it any other direction, because it's not going to juice as well. I'm going to go ahead and quickly cut all these citruses in half for you guys, and I'll be back at you when I'm going to start to juice. Alright, so I just got all my citrus cut in half. I got the last sweet lime cut in half right here. Look at that on the inside, nice and white color. So now this is all my citrus pre-cut in half, and this is all you need to do to prepare your produce to juice in the Olympus citrus press. Now, when juicing any citrus in the Olympus citrus press, when choosing and selecting your citrus, you want to get nice and heavy citrus for its size. If you pick up two in the produce, aisle, and one's light, one's heavy, pick that heavy one. That dried out one is, doesn't have as much water content. It's not going to juice as well. In general, I also encourage you guys to select citrus fruit that doesn't have thick peels. If you get citrus fruit with thick peels, it's not going to work as well as citrus fruit with, smaller peels, especially in the press that has a pre-adjusted size, for the rind. So all we need to do is just take a citrus, put it on half, center it up on this little nub here with the center of the citrus we're juicing, and just press it down. Really simple and real easy. I'm going to then compost all the citrus that I'm using, and so I just easily juiced one navel orange. Now we're going to go ahead and juice a half of sweet lime, and I want to show you guys in there. I mean, that is pretty dry right there. I have a nice wide mouth mason jar underneath, and this is the jar that I like to use to catch all the juice coming out of the Olympus citrus press because it fits perfectly and holds a lot. Next, we're going to go ahead and juice that grapefruit. Now, the Olympus citrus press could juice about things that are about 3 inches in diameter. So if you're juicing large grapefruits, you need to kind of quarter them and put a quarter on there to squeeze it out. The other thing when juicing is you don't want to crank down and go all the way to the stop there, because especially on a grapefruit where the rind's thicker, if you do this, you're going to get some of the bitter rind oils. So I'm continuing to juice in the Olympus, and it is quite easy. Now, the thing I want to encourage you guys is to pay attention to this handle here, because it comes down, it could knock you in the head, and this is going to hurt. And when storing the Olympus citrus press, I always encourage you guys to store it with the handle down. This is especially important if you have kids in the household. So now we're going to go ahead and juice some honey tangerines. All that dark, deep, rich, orange, sweet tangerine juice is coming out. As you can see, we probably have about, 12 ounces of juice so far, working our way up to the full 32 ounces. Now, I always encourage you guys to produce and make your own fresh juices at home instead of buying bottled and canned juices. Bottled and canned juices are most oftentimes heat pasteurized. And when you heat pasteurize your juice, like, yes, your cartons of OJ that you bought from the supermarket, when you heat pasteurize, you're losing a lot of the vitamins, and you're losing actually all the enzymes in the foods. This will also lower the amount of phytochemicals in the food. So for best results, I always encourage you guys to eat the freshest foods possible. And it'd be best if I had orange grove right here and picking the oranges and juicing them right up with my Olympus citrus press. But I don't, so I got these at the grocery store, and yes, they are organic. And I also encourage you guys to purchase organic whenever possible. By purchasing organic produce, you're voting with your dollars for not using chemicals on our earth that's polluting the earth. In addition, you're probably going to get a higher quality food with more nutrition in there, but more importantly, you're not going to be consuming the pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, that may be sprayed on your food. As you can see, in no time, we have over half a glass of juice here. And now here's the blood orange, and check out the color infused into the orange juice. We now got a nice pinkish color juice. I'm going to go ahead and continue to juice some of this citrus. Let's go ahead and put that second half of the grapefruit in there. Once again, I'm not cramming this down, because if we cram it all the way down, you can kind of feel when it stops, it gives you some resistance, where we'd get the bitter grapefruit skin oils. How about some more tangerine and make it nice and sweet? Now, if you can't do this exact recipe, that's alright. The main thing is you want to get one grapefruit, a whole bunch of oranges and tangerines, and add some sweet limes if you can. It'll kind of just temper out that juice just right. As you can see here, we have a nice colorful juice that we will soon be consuming. Alright, I think I'll juice one last orange, and I think then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, that worked pretty good. One of the last things I like to do is spin this guy around a little bit. It'll allow some of the juice caught in the funnel to go down. Sometimes I'll also rotate this out and turn it to its side, and kind of like, hold my finger there so the seeds don't go in, and pour the last bit of juice into my cup there. Now the next thing we do is, because I am making soda, I don't want any pulp in there. Now, this step is optional. If you like pulp, you don't need to do this, but I want to have a pulp-free juice for my soda, make it more legit, you know, too legit to quit. So what we're doing is we're just going to use a simple strainer and pour the juice through the strainer. Now I want you to, you know, show you guys that on here, there's very little fiber that's being caught by the strainer, but I'm a purist here, so when I'm making a soda, juice soda, I want all the pulp out. So that's poured out there, and you can see there's very little pulp left in here. Once again, this is an optional step. So that's literally the amount of pulp. That's really not much pulp left in there. The next step is we got a nice bottle, and this is just a 32 ounce or 1 liter bottle that I got that I already drank the water out of. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pour our juice into the bottle. And you might be thinking, John, how is that going to be fizzy? How is that going to be a soda-like, you know, juice there? Well, that's because we're taking some sparkling mineral water. And I like to pour the sparkling mineral water in first before I pour the juice in. And we're going to just fill up this container probably about, I don't know, I like to do it about a quarter of the way full. This will make sure I have enough of the carbonation or the bubbles. Alright, I think that's plenty. We'll save this for next time. Now we're just going to go ahead and pour our mixture in the bottle. Bottling our own soda at home, whoever thought. Now, because this has a citric acid, you know, I would feel comfortable storing this for up to 3 days in my fridge if I kept it cold. But that being said, this drink will not last that long around here. I'll probably drink this in the next 15 minutes. So, yep, got it all full, and check it out. We got a nice pinkish, orangish, reddish color from the blood oranges. And, you know, we could go ahead and cap this off and store it if we want. But you know what? I'm just going to drink and enjoy. We got the carbonation, we got the hint of grapefruit, but we got the sweetness of all the other fruits that we juiced. This is easily done in your own Olympus citrus press, and you could also make these style sodas by using, you know, just some sparkling water and other fruit juices you can make with your other juicer if you already own one. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode learning how to make your own grapefruit soda at home, similar to the squirt that I used to drink as a kid. In this way, you can now drink more fruits and vegetables instead of the soda and the other processed bottled juices found in the store if you own your own juicer. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.